I know that many of you clicked on this video because you were curious about the secret trick. Look at this, look at this. See how I score right along the base of that tooth and then shave maybe a 1/4 inch off the rind? It leaves the tooth there, but you no longer have this opaque rind that blocks the light, at least not as much, so you get an extra layer, something between rind and air. That's it. That's the trick. But I'm also willing to bet that a lot of you are jealous that you've never made a pumpkin that looks this good. And trust me, while adding white teeth is a cool trick, it alone ain't gonna get you accepted to the upper echelon of the pumpkin carving club. Instead, the single biggest thing that you're probably getting wrong is you don't have a pumpkin game plan. So in this video, I'll show you my technique to carving pumpkins, and hopefully teach you something along the way. To start, what do I mean by a pumpkin game plan? Well, based on my carving experience, most folks will pick up a Sharpie, draw a face pattern, maybe make a couple corrections, and proceed to carve. No shame. But unless you're Diego Velázquez, this isn't easy to do. Drawing is hard. And to make things worse, we're not talking about drawing on a sheet of paper. Pumpkins are uneven, bumpy, and round. Perspective is just hard to do on a curved object. Think about how different a globe looks compared to a 2D map. So how do you deal with that? One quick tip is I like to add markers at key positions in my final face. Say the height of a smile, the starts and ends of my eyes, to test out proportions. Taking that step back then helps me to understand how I need to adjust things. And don't be afraid to start over. A little rubbing alcohol will take Sharpie right off of a pumpkin. Draw twice, cut once certainly applies here. This is also a good tip if you have a little extra Sharpie around the edges at the end. Taking a step back, another question you might have is, where do I even come up with an idea to begin with? Steel. The internet is loaded with great examples. And guess what?
No one will ever know.
Hell, even better, ask ChatGPT what you want. And once you have a reference, it makes it much easier to transfer those little markings I was talking about. But if you turn your nose up at that and just have to draw it yourself, more power to you. You're a better drawer than I am. If you follow these few steps, you should at this point have a pretty good idea of what you're going to carve. Of course, that still leaves actually carving the dang thing. I like to use a small paring knife for most of this because it gives me a bit more control. And I have found that those serrated carving knives are pretty handy, but I couldn't find mine and they're way too expensive to justify a new one, so find what works for you. I don't have as many tips for this part that will instantly make you a pro, other than go slow and pay attention to what you're doing. Pumpkin carving is, like all skills, fostered by practice. And I won't kid you that there is certainly some skill involved here. This year I made this design that you're more than welcome to steal if you'd like, but hopefully you get to have some fun with it too. If you've made it this far in the video, you are probably thinking, who is this pretentious pumpkin prick? Don't worry, I am too. Because at the end of the day, carving pumpkins is a fun Halloween activity that should involve candy and not classical realism. My only hope is that you spend a couple extra minutes this year to think about your pumpkin. After all, it is one of the rare crafts that we get to do every year. And who doesn't want to show off a bit? So roast some seeds, throw in a scary movie, and maybe subscribe while you're at it. I'll see you next time. If you like this, check out some of my other videos. I make fun and creative videos about all sorts of crafts. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.